The disappearance of the city of Atlantis, a dream submerged beneath the waves opening. Whispers from the deep ocean. Close your eyes and let your mind drift across a tranquil ocean where the silver moonlight dances on gentle waves. Imagine yourself lying on a small wooden boat, swaying softly, its linen sails fluttering in the night breeze. The scent of salt water wafts through the air, blending with the faint fragrance of wildflowers from a distant, forgotten island. Beneath, the deep waters, where glowing fish shimmer like stars of the sea, an ancient tale whispers, the story of Atlantis, a city that once shone like the sun, only to vanish like a dream amid the waves. Allow me to guide you through its marble-paved streets, introduce you to its gentle people, and let you feel the quiet sorrow as the city sank into the ocean's embrace. Take a deep breath, relax your body, and let the sound of the waves lull you into a mystical world where time slows to the rhythm of the sea. We will begin this journey slowly and gently, like a lullaby from the ocean's depths. Part 1. The origin of Atlantis, a blessed island of the gods. Imagine a distant era, around 9,600 years before the Common Era, as recorded by the philosopher Plato in his works Timaeus and Critias. In the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, where the horizon blazes with the rising sun, a vast island emerges, larger than ancient Libya and Asia combined. This is Atlantis, a gift from the sea god Poseidon, the mighty deity wielding a trident, bestowed upon humanity as a testament to his love for mankind. The land of Atlantis is miraculously fertile. Endless fields of golden wheat stretch like a radiant carpet under the sun, orchards heavy with ripe oranges, fragrant lemons, and vibrant pomegranates, and lush green hills dotted with crystal clear streams flowing over smooth pebbles. This island was born from Poseidon's love for Cleito, a mortal woman of breathtaking beauty with long, glossy black hair and eyes as deep as the sea. Cleito was the daughter of Evener, a humble shepherd living on the central hill of the island, and Leucippe, a kind woman skilled in weaving linen from flax. One day, as Poseidon rose from the ocean, he was captivated by Cleito's grace. He transformed her hill into a natural fortress, surrounded by 3 concentric rings of land alternating with 3 rings of water, connected by gracefully arched bridges of polished granite that shimmered in the sunlight. At the hill's summit, Poseidon built a majestic palace of white marble, its golden roof gleaming, with large windows opening to the sea. He gifted the island with hot springs that released gentle steam, offering relaxation to the people after their labors, and cold springs of pure water to irrigate the fields. The firstborn son of Poseidon and Cleito, Atlas, became the first king of Atlantis, and the island was named after him. Atlas was a tall man with curly brown hair and a warm voice, ruling with wisdom and compassion. He organized offerings to Poseidon each harvest season, where the people brought wildflowers, honey, and fresh fish, placing them on an altar made of giant seashells. Imagine an early Atlantean family. The father, Thalios, a farmer with suntanned skin from days in the fields, wearing a simple white linen tunic and a straw hat woven from dried grass. He cultivated wheat on a field near the outermost canal, where the stalks swayed in the breeze, and each afternoon he sat beneath an olive tree, smiling as he watched his flock of sheep graze. The mother, Irene, a woman with deft hands, wove fabric from flax dyed blue with seaweed, teaching their daughter Lyra how to spin thread and embroider wave patterns. Lyra, 12 years old, with her brown hair tied high with a green ribbon, loved running through the fields, picking wildflowers, and dreaming of sea voyages with her brother. Their son, Nereus, 15 years old, apprenticed as a shipbuilder under an old craftsman named Callias, carving wood beneath an oak tree, hoping one day to sail the ocean and explore the world. life in early Atlantis was a peaceful paradise. The people built homes from white stone quarried near the mountains, with thatched roofs and large windows to welcome the sunlight. The canals were lined with tall palm trees, and granite bridges led to small gardens where children played, launching paper boats made from palm leaves, while adults sat on stone benches, chatting about the harvest. Imagine Thalios, on a cool afternoon, leading his family to a small temple near the forest's edge, where they offered jasmine and honey to Poseidon. The temple was adorned with large seashells, vibrant red coral, and pearls hanging from the ceiling that glistened like stars. Irene sang a hymn praising the ocean, her clear voice blending with the distant sound of waves, while Lyra and Nereus sat on the stone steps, listening and dreaming. The Atlanteans began to develop remarkable technology. They built large ships with linen sails woven from flax, carrying wheat, fabric, and gems like jade and quartz to distant lands. They mined orichalcum, a legendary metal glowing red like the sunset, found only in Atlantis, to craft jewelry, decorate temples, and forge shields for warriors. Imagine Nereus, now skilled in shipbuilding, standing on a sleek black stone dock, watching a merchant ship return from a distant island, laden with pearls, spices like cinnamon and star anise, and rare animal hides. He wore an orichalcum necklace, a gift from his father, its metal reflecting the sunlight and illuminating his youthful face. Yet even in these peaceful early days, the seeds of arrogance began to sprout. The kings, descendants of Atlas, started building grander palaces with walls inlaid with gold, silver, and pearls, dreaming of conquering foreign lands. Imagine Lyra, now 14, standing by the canal, watching an Atlantean army train with gleaming bronze shields and long oak spears, her heart stirring with unease as merchants whispered of war with a distant island. Nereus, one evening by the family hearth, repeated Callias's words, "Poseidon dislikes it when we forget our gratitude," but Thalios only laughed, assuring them that Atlantis would endure forever. Part 2. The Golden Age of Atlantis. A radiant city amid the ocean. Imagine Atlantis at its peak, around 2,000 years after its founding, when it became the heart of a vast empire stretching across the seas. The central city, nestled within the innermost ring of land near Clyto's palace, was a dazzling wonder. Massive walls coated with orichalcum shimmered like red flames under the morning sun, reflecting on the canal waters. The canals were bordered by towering palm trees, with gracefully curved marble bridges leading to expansive plazas where people gathered to trade, celebrate festivals, and worship. The streets, paved with polished obsidian that mirrored the glow of oil lamps hanging from bronze poles, stretched through the city, connecting bustling markets and majestic temples. Thalios's family had moved to the central city to pursue a merchant life. Thalios, now a successful trader with silver-streaked hair, dealt in wheat and linen, living in a two-story stone house with a courtyard planted with jasmine and a small lemon tree. He wore a blue linen robe and a coral necklace, stepping into the courtyard each morning to breathe the fresh air and listen to sparrows chirping on the roof. Irene, though aged, remained skilled, managing the household, cooking meals of grilled fish from the sea, fragrant wheat bread, and honey drizzled from a beehive in the garden, while teaching Lyra the arts of pottery and intricate embroidery. Lyra, now 20, had become a talented artisan, crafting pots painted with images of waves, leaping dolphins, and stars, which she sold at the central market. She wore a green linen dress, her hair tied high with an embroidered ribbon, and each day she carried her wares to market with a bright smile. Nereus, 23, served as a sailor in the Atlantean fleet, commanding a large ship with a prow carved in the likeness of Poseidon wielding a trident, transporting orichalcum, pearls, and spices to colonies like Crete and the West African coast. Life in Atlantis was vibrant yet busy. Each morning, Thalios walked to the central plaza, where merchants displayed goods, linen dyed purple with seashells, peacock feathers from distant lands, quartz, and jade gems. He traded wheat for a coral bead necklace for Irene, smiling as he heard the music of a street harpist in a white linen robe and palm leaf hat. Lyra, at her pottery stall, chatted with customers, sharing how her pots were inspired by the ocean Nereus described: silvery waves, schools of sharks, and sunlight piercing the water. Nereus, when home, regaled the family with tales of the lands he'd seen: islands with erupting volcanoes where ash fell like gray rain, and villages where people worshipped the sun god, wearing fur cloaks and offering fruits to their deity. The heart of Atlantis was the royal palace, where King Arion, a descendant of Atlas, ruled with pride and authority. Imagine Arion, a tall man with long silver hair tied with a golden band, his sea-blue eyes gazing from the white marble balcony, draped in an orichalcum robe embroidered with wave patterns and crowned with a gold circlet studded with pearls. He sipped wine from a silver cup etched with dolphins, looking down on the city with pride in Atlantis's might. His wife, Queen Thalassa, a woman with lustrous brown hair and a gentle voice, oversaw rituals, offering red coral, white pearls, and wildflowers to Poseidon in the Temple of the Ocean. This temple featured towering marble columns, a golden roof that gleamed, and a floor inlaid with mosaics of dancing dolphins and curling waves, where priests in white linen robes chanted under the glow of oil lamps mounted on the walls. The Atlanteans took pride in their knowledge. Astronomers, with long hair tied back and robes embroidered with stars, observed the heavens from hilltop observatories, recording the cycles of the moon, Venus, and Sirius on black stone tablets. They used long copper tubes to peer farther, gathering each evening around a fire to share wisdom with the people. Engineers, with calloused hands, constructed intricate irrigation systems, channeling water from hill springs through clay pipes to fields and the city, ensuring lush harvests. Imagine Lyra, on a cool evening, climbing the hill with Nereus to stargaze, sitting on soft grass, marveling as an astronomer pointed out Sirius, the brightest star, believed to be Poseidon's sign. Nereus held Lyra's hand, tracing a fish-shaped constellation, and they laughed under the gentle night light. Yet this brilliance came with growing arrogance. King Arion expanded the empire, sending fleets to conquer distant lands from the Egyptian coast to ancient European islands. The Atlantean army, clad in gleaming bronze armor, orichalcum shields, and chariots drawn by white horses, imposed heavy taxes on colonies, demanding wheat, fish, and gems. Imagine Nereus, aboard a warship, standing on the deck as they reached a small island, watching villagers kneel in tattered clothes, clutching their children. He began to wonder if Atlantis had gone too far, an unease growing within him as the waves crashed louder than usual. Part 3. Signs of Decline. Warnings from the ocean. The Golden Age lasted for centuries, but by the 25th century of Atlantis, cracks appeared in the island's harmony. The people, once humble and devout, grew greedy and arrogant. The kings built ever more lavish palaces with walls inlaid with gold, silver, pearls, and orichalcum, neglecting the temples and irrigation systems. Imagine the Temple of the Ocean, once radiant with pearl light and coral, now covered in green moss, its pearls fallen to the stone floor, with elderly priests sweeping ash from distant volcanoes. Thalios's family felt this shift deeply. Thalios, now 60 with white hair and trembling hands, worried as he saw merchants in the central plaza argue over prices, abandoning the mutual aid of old. He recalled the days when they shared wheat and fish after storms, but now all they sought was profit. Irene, with her white-streaked hair and kind eyes, prayed more often at the family altar in the courtyard, where she placed a small coral statue of Poseidon, burning dried flowers and pouring seawater into a ritual bowl to seek divine protection. Lyra, at her pottery stall, noticed fewer customers, as people spent more on gold jewelry, imported wine, and silk garments than on art. Nereus, returning from a long voyage, told the family of fierce storms he encountered, with waves as high as hills, and sailors' whispers that Poseidon was angry at Atlantis's arrogance. The priests, once revered in white linen robes and coral staffs, began warning of divine wrath. Imagine an elderly priest named Lysandros, with long silver hair tied back and cloudy eyes, standing in the central plaza, his coral staff trembling as he spoke of Poseidon's warning dreams, visions of towering waves, trembling earth, and erupting volcanoes glowing red. He recounted seeing the royal palace sink underwater, with the cries of the people blending with the roar of waves. But King Arion, proud in his palace, mocked the warnings, ordering a lavish feast to celebrate Atlantis's latest victory, the conquest of an eastern island. Imagine Lyra, standing at the plaza's edge, watching the crowd cheer as dancers, in red and gold silk performed, her heart heavy with foreboding as distant thunder rumbled under a clear sky. Signs of natural unrest grew evident. Minor earthquakes shook the island, shattering Lyra's pottery in her workshop and cracking house walls like spiderwebs. A distant volcano on the island's edge erupted, sending gray ash into the air, darkening the sky for days, forcing people to light oil lamps even at noon. Imagine Irene, standing in the courtyard, watching ash fall like gray snow, holding Lyra as they prayed at the family altar, while Thalios struggled to repair the damaged roof. Nereus, aboard a ship near shore, noticed unusual waves, taller than normal, battering the hull, and he whispered an apology to Poseidon, gripping the rigging in the strong wind. The people divided. Some, like Thalios, returned to the temples, offering jasmine, honey, and dried fish, begging for forgiveness and promising humility. Others, swept up in luxury, ignored the signs, believing Atlantis invincible due to its technology and army. Imagine an evening when the family gathered in the courtyard, eating bread and dried fish under oil lamplight. Nereus saying in a low voice, "We've forgotten gratitude. The gods gave us land, water, and knowledge, but we crave more: gold, power, and glory." Lyra nodded, gazing at the sea where moonlight danced on waves, feeling an unnamed sadness, as if the ocean itself wept silently. Part 4. The Fall of Atlantis. A fateful night under divine wrath. The fateful day arrived unexpectedly, on a full moon night when the sky was clear and stars sparkled like pearls scattered on black silk. Imagine Thalios's family, after a long day's work, gathered in their courtyard, the oil lamps glow illuminating their weathered faces. Thalios, with trembling hands, recounted Atlantis's early days, his voice frail but nostalgic, recalling the first wheat fields and rituals under olive trees. Irene, with her white hair tied neatly, sang an ancient ocean hymn, her clear voice mingling with the crickets chirping as she stirred a pot of fish stew with garden herbs. Lyra, beside her mother, caressed a newly crafted pot painted with a leaping dolphin amid waves, a gift for Nereus, who would sail at dawn to deliver orichalcum to a colony. Nereus, with his brown hair tied high and calloused hands, smiled softly, promising to bring Lyra pearls for jewelry. Suddenly, the ground shook violently, more intensely than any prior quake, as if Atlantis's heart were screaming. The house walls cracked with a dry, splintering sound, and pots on the shelves crashed to the stone floor, shattering into pieces. Shouts echoed through the city, blending with the neighing of horses and barking of dogs in the darkness. Imagine Thalios, clutching Irene, shouting to Lyra and Nereus, "To the beach! Find a boat!" They ran through the obsidian-paved streets, now split with deep fissures, pushing through a panicked crowd. Women holding infants, men carrying bags, fleeing. In chaos, bronze columns in the plaza toppled, and oil lamps fell, sparking small fires whose red glow lit the terrified faces of the people. Above, a ferocious storm erupted from nowhere, as if Poseidon had struck his trident into the sea's depths. Thunder roared, lightning split the sky, illuminating the royal palace where King Arion stood on the balcony, his face pale as he realized divine fury. Imagine Nereus, pulling Lyra across a trembling marble bridge, yelling over the wind, "We must reach the harbor." But upon arriving at the shore, massive waves, towering like the central hill, crashed in, sweeping away small boats and seaside homes. Flooding the obsidian roads with a deafening roar, the family clung together on a small hill near the harbor, watching the city collapse under flickering lightning. The orichalcum walls glimmered one last time before being swallowed by the waves, their red glow extinguished like a candle. The temple of the ocean crumbled, its towering marble columns falling into the canals, shattering into thousands of pieces, and the cries of the people, children weeping, elders praying, merged with the storm's howl. Imagine Lyra, tears streaming down her cheeks, hugging the dolphin pot, whispering, "Poseidon, forgive us." Nereus, with an arm around his mother, gazed at the sea, his heart breaking as he saw his ship, the vessel he'd carved with care, smashed into drifting wood fragments that in a single night, Atlantis vanished. The colossal waves, perhaps from a massive underwater volcanic eruption or a catastrophic earthquake, submerged the entire island into the ocean's depths. Imagine the final scene, the royal palace, with its golden roof and marble windows, sinking into the deep blue, its light reflecting one last time before darkness enveloped it. A strange stillness settled, broken only by the gentle lapping of waves, as if the ocean sighed, cradling Atlantis's secrets in its embrace. Part 5. Aftermath and Mystery. Atlantis in eternal dreams. Imagine the morning after, as the sun rises over a calm sea, its golden rays dancing on gentle waves like scattered gems. No trace of Atlantis remains, no shimmering orichalcum walls, no curved marble bridges, no children's laughter in the plazas. Only the vast, deep blue ocean stretches endlessly, a veil hiding eternal secrets. A few survivors, like Thalios's family, drifted on splintered wood from a broken ship, their bodies exhausted, clothes soaked, and hearts heavy with loss. They were rescued by fishermen from a small southern island, rugged men with suntanned skin, wearing simple linen robes, who pulled them aboard with strong arms. Imagine Thalios, his white hair plastered to his forehead by seawater, holding Irene tightly as she trembled in his embrace, her eyes gazing distantly toward the ocean where their homeland had vanished. Lyra, clutching the dolphin pot, the only relic left, though its rim was chipped, whispered, "We've lost everything." Nereus, with red-rimmed eyes, stared at the sea, gripping a torn rope fragment, his heart aching for his ship and the crewmates now gone. The survivors settled on a small island they named Alicia, meaning place of rest in the ancient Atlantean tongue. This modest isle featured soft white sands, a few wheat fields, and a small forest alive with birdsong. Thalios's family built a humble stone-and-wood home with a thatched roof, striving to start anew. But memories of Atlantis never left them. Imagine Lyra, now 50 with brown hair streaked with silver, sitting on Alicia's beach each sunset, wearing a worn linen robe, clutching the dolphin pot, recounting Atlantis to her son Myron, 12 years old. Myron, with his father Nereus's blue eyes, sat beside her on a large rock, listening intently, envisioning obsidian-paved streets, canals aglow with orichalcum, evening rituals under oil lamps, and the arrogance that cost them everything. Lyra pointed to the pot, saying, "This depicts the ocean your uncle Nereus and I once knew, where dolphins danced and waves whispered Poseidon's songs." Myron nodded, tracing circles in the sand, dreaming of one day finding Atlantis. The tale of Atlantis spread through generations, from the survivors to their descendants, and beyond, reaching distant lands. Alicia's fishermen shared it with merchants, who carried it to ports in Crete, ancient Egypt, and Greece. The Greeks, particularly philosopher Plato, recorded it 9,000 years later in Timaeus and Critias as a cautionary tale of greed and hubris. Yet it became more than a lesson. It evolved into a thrilling mystery, an unsolved puzzle that captivated generations. Imagine ancient Greek storytellers, gathered around campfires in small villages, recounting Atlantis with resonant voices, describing golden palaces, orichalcum ships, and the fateful wave. Children listened with wide eyes, while adults whispered, "Could Atlantis have truly existed?" The mystery of Atlantis's location grew increasingly thrilling over time. Some ancient scholars, based on Plato's account, believed it lay in the Mediterranean near Santorini, where a massive volcanic eruption around 1600 BCE destroyed the Minoan civilization, leaving ash and ruins beneath the sea. They noted Santorini's concentric land and water structure, mirroring Atlantis, and its Minoan frescoes depicting ocean worship akin to Atlantean practices. Imagine an ancient Greek archaeologist, clad in a white linen robe, standing on Santorini's shore, gazing into the deep blue, wondering if orichalcum walls lay buried under sand and coral. Other theories ventured into even greater intrigue. Some suggested Atlantis resided in the Caribbean near the Bahamas, where in 1968, modern archaeologists discovered the Bimini Road, a submerged stone formation with large blocks arranged in straight lines stretching hundreds of meters, resembling an ancient roadway. Imagine divers in black wetsuits descending into the clear Bahamian waters, sunlight filtering through, illuminating the strange stones. Some blocks were perfectly shaped, as if carved by human hands, with curved patterns like a city map. Yet, deeper excavations yielded only coral, circling sharks, and unidentified fragments, leaving them to ponder. Is this Atlantis or nature's trick? Another theory placed Atlantis at the South Pole, where melting ice in the 21st century revealed odd structures beneath thick glaciers. Researchers, citing the 16th century Piri Reis map, proposed that Antarctica was once a warm continent, possibly Atlantis's home. Imagine a modern expedition team in cold weather gear standing on Antarctic ice, peering into a deep crevasse where sunlight reflects off a shimmering object, perhaps an orichalcum shard, or merely ice catching the light. They used geological scanners, detecting unusual shapes beneath the ice, like walls or columns. But the ice's depth kept the mystery intact. Folktales added to the intrigue. In some Mediterranean coastal villages, locals claimed that on moonlit nights, they heard singing rising from the sea, ancient Atlantean chants in an unintelligible tongue, blending with the waves. Imagine an old fisherman, with silver hair and weathered skin, sitting in a small wooden boat on a full moon night, hearing a faint melody from below, like harp strings and women's voices. He told his son, "Those are Atlantis's souls, singing for Poseidon's forgiveness." Others spoke of seeing flickering lights underwater, like orichalcum's glow, but dives revealed only sand and rocks. Another mystery emerged from artifacts found worldwide. In ancient Egypt, a stone tablet unearthed near the Giza pyramids bore an image of a city with concentric land and water rings, inscribed with hieroglyphs mentioning an island of the gods swallowed by the sea. In South America, near Machu Picchu, a red metal necklace resembling orichalcum's description was found in an ancient tomb, etched with dolphin and wave motifs, Atlantis symbols. Imagine a modern archaeologist seated in a lab, holding the necklace, wondering, could this be a trace of Atlantis, or mere coincidence? Analysis showed its alloy unmatched by any known Earth metal, deepening the enigma. Dreams fueled the mystery further. Some, especially those living near the sea, reported dreaming of Atlantis. Gem-paved streets, golden palaces, and towering waves. In 19th century Greece, a young girl claimed to dream of an underwater city where people in white linen robes sang to Poseidon, and she saw a golden-roofed palace sink into the depths. Her detailed account prompted an archaeological search in the area she indicated, but they found only coral and glowing fish, leaving her dream an unsolved riddle. Atlantis might be a myth, a distorted memory of a real civilization swallowed by the sea, or a prophecy of human hubris. Its thrill lies in the unanswered questions. Where is Atlantis? Why did it vanish? Did an advanced civilization truly exist, surpassing its era? Imagine Lyra, in her final days at 80, sitting on Alicia's beach, gazing at the ocean with clouded eyes, whispering, Atlantis, our dream, now the ocean's dream. Her grandchildren, gathered around her on the sand, listened to the waves, feeling as if they heard children's laughter from distant Atlantis, the faint strum of a harp, and Poseidon's sigh from the depths. The mystery of Atlantis endures, not just in books, but in our imaginations. It serves as a reminder that even the mightiest civilizations can fade, yet their dreams persist. Imagine a future archaeologist in 2050 standing on a modern ship in the Atlantic, staring at a sonar screen showing a circular structure 3,000 meters below. He whispers, is this Atlantis? But the ocean remains silent, offering only the gentle lapping of waves, like an eternal lullaby. Closing. A lullaby from the eternal depths return to your small boat, swaying gently on the still sea. The waves lap against the hull like a lullaby. From Lost Atlantis. This story, of its radiant rise, mesmerizing beauty, and gentle fall, reminds us of humility and gratitude for nature's gifts. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let the waves lull you into a deep sleep. Imagine glowing fish swimming beneath the sea, marble columns glimmering in the dark, and the distant echo of a harp from a bygone era. Wishing you a peaceful night, cradled in the eternal dreams of Atlantis, where time stands still and the ocean holds all.